Welcome to Music Causation. I am your host, Ron, and my co host is also here, Steve. Welcome back once again. We are ready to go with
Hi,
another great
Ron.
show.
Show number 8. Hard to believe it's been 8 shows already. It's flying by.
Yeah, and it's been joyous, and we're on location today.
Yeah,
We are at the the
green on
the
Main.
green on Main. Oh my God, I went blank there for a minute.
That's okay.
That's why it takes two of us to do this.
Yeah, well, in my role at the Blackstone Valley Tourism Council, I'm very familiar with Green on Main and with Still on Main just up the road, which
Yep.
is a mini mall, which is really turning into quite a beautiful
Yeah.
experience.
So if you're gonna ever be in the area and you want to see the podcast in actual person, you can come down right now because we are live at the Green on Main, and just come on in. It is fantastic. There's food, there's beverages, there's a candy store, there's all kinds of things that you can do here, include just having a picnic. Just
Yes,
having a picnic. So we get the grass behind us here. We know we're not laying on the ground, and this camera's not in the sky.
right.
But yeah, it's almost like that Wrigley Field feel
There
to
you
it.
go.
With the ivy on the wall. But we have a special guest again today. Um, there's a lot we can cover with our guest, J. Michael Graham. He's part of a lot of things. Okay, so I mean, first of all, he is part of the River Bend East Festival, if I believe, right?
That's correct.
It's a festival. It is for songwriters,
Absolutely.
and that is usually done right down here downtown at Slater Mill.
Right.
So
Beautiful location.
yeah, so right by the water. I mean, come on, you got to check that out. When you when you're part of the culture around here, it is hard not to see the great things that this area has to offer, and that goes for all of Rhode Island. I mean, there are so many great spots in Rhode Island. It's nice to call it home.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, it's nice. So, but J. Michael Graham is with us, so let's bring him in right now. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, Ron. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you, Steve.
Welcome. So great to have you here.
And love to be on location as a Pawtucket resident. I come down here all the time, and it's great to see so many businesses opening up and so much happening in Pawtucket. So
Yeah, it's nice to see the downtown area is coming alive. There's a lot of businesses opening up, in this downtown area. And if you haven't been down here in a while, you probably should take a little trip to downtown Pawtucket and check it out. I mean, it all starts basically with, the new bridge. It's very colorful, lit up.
Yep.
We're talking soccer.
The Tourism Council was very instrumental in making that bridge happen. Actually,
Yeah.
they had a very basic industrial design going for that thing, and the Tourism Council intervened and said, "Hey, wait a minute, we could probably do a better job, do a better construction, a better design for the same money," and they did. It was a very
Yeah.
successful aspect of
And they got
their work
the
here.
they got the Pawtucket Central Falls rail now, the
Yep.
station.
We're very
That's
excited.
right
For
there.
the first time in 50 years, we've got mass transit coming into the area.
Yeah.
And
So
we can talk a lot more
a-
about what that means
yeah,
for our local economy.
a lot of upgrades, and when you have all these upgrades and they come within a 2-year span, that's all of a sudden you have so much to offer, and and besides just the places to go, there is the music. And I'll tell you, I got to listen to your album ahead of all of you people that'll probably be able to get it. If you go to his website, jmgrahammusic.com, you can check it out there. The album is fantastic, by the way.
thank you so much for saying so.
And I know when you were kind of like practicing here, rehearsing, you played a song, and I'm like, that song sounds familiar. I heard that song, and it was Spanish Market.
That's correct. Yeah, yeah. That's the, let's see, it's the fifth song on the
Yeah. So
And-
I liked it.
Yeah, we've got a CD release event coming up that we'll talk about, and Michael was kind enough to make it a 1 of 52 event at the
Yep.
Foolproof Brewery. And I wanted to say that Michael's a member of our 1 of 52 Hunger Network, as Ron is. And it's really based around charity. You know, we've done a lot of charity work over the last 30 years, organizing musicians and artists. And just give you a quick overview, the 1 of 52 Hunger Network. There's 52 weeks of the year. We ask folks to take a minimum of one action in 1 week of the year to help end hunger in our community. And we'll always do that work. However, we are now really expanding our scope, and we're working on creating what Bill Shore, the founder of one of America's largest hunger organizations, who talks about creating community wealth. And the beauty and the significance of being here at Green on Main. I was having a conversation with the owner, Teresa, the other day. What she does is she makes these spaces available for entrepreneurs, called, they're micro spaces for entrepreneurs to get started up. And what I love about that is it's what's really gets to the heart of creating community wealth, to lift people up out of hunger and poverty, who can get their self up and running, start their own entrepreneurial business right here at Green on Main, 230 Main Street, Pawtucket, Rhode Island. And it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember the first time I walked into this place, I was blown away, because like when they tell you about it, it doesn't quite capture the effect as actually seeing
Yeah,
it.
when I first heard about it, I wasn't sure what to expect.
It just
a gorgeous
reminds me
space.
of like one of those craft fairs.
Yeah.
Where you're going in, it's like a little village of
Multiple booths, multiple products,
Yeah.
food, fun, family.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And music. So how long have you been, with 1 of 52?
Yeah, so Steve and I think we first crossed paths. I want to say it was at least probably 3 or 4 years ago at this point. I mean, it's probably even a little bit longer. It's hard to get a bearing of don't want to bring up the pandemic and all, but
Yeah,
There's a
right.
dropping
Exactly. There's that abyss in the middle.
but it was well before that. And I think our first event might have been at dusk. I want to say.
Oh, yeah.
I did a show there with Mark Cutler.
With Mark Cutler, yes, that's right. I think you're correct. That was the first time officially at a 1 of 52 event. Mark's been a longtime member and been tremendously supportive over the years. He's been a member for, I gotta say, at least 15 years or so. And he's also a member of our hunger organization. Our sister hunger organization called Hunger Down, run by my mutual friend, Dave Goldstein. And Dave's very big on the entrepreneurial side of getting businesses involved, businesses organization. So I'm a little bit more on the commitment from the artist. He's a little bit more on the business side of things. But between us, we're really working to make a difference to help create food security in Rhode Island.
Yeah, and at that first event, I was just amazed because it was really just people, bringing the non-perishable items. We had the box set up, and I didn't know what to expect. But I mean, I had a whole trunkload of food at the very end of the event to take to, and for that event, in honor of Mark, we did the Cranston organization at Cranston in terms of donating the food. I can't remember exactly the name of it, but it was that was a great event, and we're hoping to do the same, on Friday here in Pawtucket. So
that's perfect. The 1 of 52 Hunger Network is based around music and the arts, though people from all walks of life can use their talent to participate. But there you go, in a nutshell, is really the whole concept of people choosing to take action. They choose where it gets donated to. And I do depend upon them to actually get the food or the donations to the final recipient. I could never facilitate all these events myself. And, I can't really get granular on the management of all the events in terms of where the food goes and such. It could never happen on the scale that I envision this happening by me trying to do all the work. It's got to be about what everybody else does, not about what I do. So if you choose to become a member with us, you decide what to do, you decide who to help, and then you finally get the food or the donations to where it's going. And you can visit our website, very simple site, oneof52.net, and there's a whole menu of items there and ways you can participate. But if you're a musician or artist, if you've got an event or a show coming up, could be as simple as just asking people to bring non-perishable food items. And since we do ask for an annual donation, you can get started with a simple food drive, and the following year do a food drive and pass the hat and do a collection. Maybe the following years you stage your own event, and you can always take it up whatever you feel comfortable doing and however you feel comfortable getting there. And 100% of all the proceeds go directly to the food organization of your choice. If people don't know where to donate, we usually default to the Rhode Island Community Food Bank. And on the screen today, you'll see a direct link to go to, we have a page set up to donate directly to the food bank through us. And if you donate through that link, they'll know that we get credit through this show. And Ron, you can describe if people do the stars and they want to sponsor the show, 100% of everything goes directly to the food bank.
Exactly. So you can donate stars on Facebook, bits on Twitch, and all of that. Everything we get, even from the ads, when you watch those ads, like they show on Twitch, that will generate ad revenue. It's not a huge dollar amount,
No,
obviously,
that's okay.
but
It all counts.
everything does get tabulated, and it does move forward to the food banks, the community food bank. So don't be afraid to donate bits and stars, and we will have tabulations on that. It's actually generating some on the ads as well.
Nice.
So it is nice to see that the more people that view the show, it does help. So every penny helps.
So spread the word, share it. All the shows are archived. So go to ribroadcasting.com and you can see all the shows that we've done. We've had some great artists on already. And
Yes.
next week we have another remote artist from Florida who's one of the organizers of the Hibiscus Festival down there, big event. And they've made that through our friend Chakula. They've made that a food event too, a 1 of 52 Hunger Network. So where we started in Rhode Island, we're up and running for 30 years, but now we're up and running in several states. So one of our goals, hopefully in this lifetime, is to have a core network of 52, each representing 1 week of the year in all 50 states. So get on board.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice, all 50 states.
Absolutely. So here today, we're so glad to have our guest, J. Michael Graham, with us. And why don't we get right to having him play a song for us?
Yeah, absolutely. Look forward to that. So I'm going to start with this first number here. This is a song called Taboo Tattoo. And we'll get the Spanish market a little bit later. I figure get a little build-up anticipation for that. But this is a song that I actually wrote collaborating with the Rhode Island Songwriters Association. And they had an event that I participated in, which they get a prompt from the audience. The audience.
Very cool.
The month before they call out random words and creatively kind of put something.
Who
together.
are also 1 of 52 members.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So that was a fun event, and the prompt that I got was Taboo Tattoo. So at first I was like, what the heck am I going to do?
Very
do
cool.
with this, I had a month to write a song, but I was just a little backstory. I was listening to this documentary. I often listen to documentaries as I fall asleep. It's just kind of a thing I do, and it was on the circus. P.T. Barnum and the history of all of that. Both good and bad. Certainly, circus has brought a lot of joy, but there's that. Imagination that it sort of evokes, and it's always been one of those interesting backdrops. There's a Ray Bradbury story, Something Wicked This Way Comes. I remember that sort of set that sort of a circusy kind of thing, and it's always a popular theme in movies to contrast. So I sort of just got this idea of that sort of circus stuff swirling around and the taboo tattoo. So here we go with that.
Dangers always lurk around the corner of the bend. Clowns out there smirking, devils and demons in my head. Big time fires are raging, ashes peel away the night, melt away our tomorrow. Trapeze artists, they fly. Nothing out here avoid. Test to try to true. Must I sell my belongings to maintain a taboo tattoo? Hear that train coming. Weather's reeking of sin. No one's waiting to greet you. Whistles warm in the wind. Violent storms may be brewing. Stop starting in flight. Fortune's out there so great. Never seeming quite right. Still your fears won't avoid testimony tried and true. Think I'll sell my belongings to maintain a taboo tattoo. As I try to save you, I can only watch it claim you. I can't stop it with all my might. This carnival of color can't keep my brother, my mind. Don't shut out the light. Still your fears won't avoid testimony tried and true. So now I place my order, file for closure. The road is long and I belong to this here taboo tattoo.
Beautiful song.
Fantastic.
Love it.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Look, I got to listen to that album. It's impressive. It's impressive. And if anybody out there that loves the sound of acoustic guitar, I recommend this so much because like you can feel the songs, and that is, when you get that, you get those the chills and stuff like that when you reach certain parts of songs.
Exactly.
And when you feel it, I mean, it makes it a special song. And I think you reach that with people several times on this album.
Thank you.
And I gotta commend you for that. That's, to do that is a special thing. And I think that's what most musicians, from just the experience of talking to the musicians that we've had on here and other musicians that we haven't, that seems to be, if you can touch somebody with a song, and that's what it's about.
And those moments you refer to, I think that's what all musicians strive for. And we call this show Music Causation. and basically it's a music talk show. But it's all about the cause, and I love the name Music Causation because causation stands for cause and effect. And if the music that these artists that are joining us are playing helps to create that cause and effect, which brings about the action of us working to end hunger in Rhode Island and beyond, it's really a very special thing. And what we're working to accomplish here is one thing I really appreciate about what Ron has done for us is we've been running this campaign for 30 plus years. Well, one thing we've been lacking is really a lot of the kind of the media attention. And since these programs not only go out live on several channels that Ron will tell you where to tune in, but they're archived and people will be able to listen to them over and over again. And it gives us a great opportunity to promote upcoming events too. We have a couple we can talk about, but Ron has one very special one coming up for this CD release that he's playing songs from today. Just tell us a little bit about that event coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a CD release event happening this Friday, April 21st, and that's going to be at Foolproof Brewery. I got the T-shirt on over
Nice.
here. I don't know if you can quite see it, but our friends at Foolproof were kind enough to host us. They have really been expanding their musical offerings at Foolproof. So a while back, I played a separate event there, and that was a live recorded event. So one of the songs on the CD that I could, in fact, play a little bit later called Breakthrough, we recorded live at Foolproof. It's sort of a combination of different live. It's not all from one setting in terms of the recording that I'm offering here. At the
And it was
show.
recorded live, like ambiently or through the board, the music.
Yeah,
board,
yeah.
or
Well, it was
combination of the two.
There's a little backstory there. I'll sort of go ahead and get into it if that works.
Yeah, sure.
So,
That's what this show's all about. And it's as much about the music and the process as it is about the cause. So sure.
yeah. So the origins or the genesis of Live from Little Rhodey, which is the name of the CD, it comes from actually Riverbend East, which is the festival that that Ron mentioned. This was 2021, and our sound engineer at that time, still our sound engineer, Brad Thibodeau, who is the owner of Auburn Recording Studios down in South County. You had mentioned South County earlier, Steve. So he's down.
I think I communicated with him a while back. That's great.
He's very involved. He also plays in the band the Copacetic, who won
Okay.
multiple Motif magazine music
Yes.
awards.
Yes.
Kind of a reggae ska sort of vibe in that band. Wonderful
Right.
band. Fantastic. So he performs as a sound engineer at Riverbend East, which we host early September every year at Slater Mill that you nicely mentioned before. So in 2021, he had offered to do live recording of all the artists, and he had a technical snafu with it, just one of those things that happen, one of the
I know.
cables or whatever.
I was a sound man for a number of years and a roadie, and boy, do I know that well.
Sure. Unfortunately, the live sound was fine, but the recorded versions did not come out. And Brad, he felt, and we were fine with it. We were that was a bonus to get the live recording, so we were like, no problem, don't worry about it. But he insisted that we try again. And this was just when we were coming out of the pandemic, so there weren't a lot of live gigs. I mean, that was the Riverbend East is an outdoor festival, so it was a safe gig. But heading into the colder weather in 2021, if you recall, there still were a lot of places that were lukewarm or not quite there in terms of offering the live music that I had come to expect, pre-pandemic. So I didn't have a ton of gigs on the schedule. So Brad's like, why don't you come over to the Copacetics recording studio and we'll just record you live. We'll just do it there. And I was like, great. So I was working with Aaron Carvalho, who's going to be there Friday as well. He's the bass player on the live recording. That's Aaron there with the funky hat. And we went over and we recorded the Copacetic studio. It was interesting because it's a shared space. So there's we're talking down here in downtown Pawtucket. There's a lot of creative collaboration. Well, there was there in the Mill building, and it was on Bissell Street in Providence. And there was a Baptist church that was going through their sermons while we were recording. So we actually had to wait in between hymns to record. So
Nice.
hymns happening, and then there'd be this pause, silence for a little while. Things would get a little quieter. Then we would do our live recording and hurry up before the hymns came back on. So there's kind of a sense of higher power, kind of with this with this recording, which we loved and kind of got into. So the bulk of the recording was done that way, and then we just kind of let the song sort of sit for a while, and then. Randy Haneke, who is the owner of Newcastle Sound in Bristol, long-standing music and enthusiast. He's recorded just about everybody in the state at one time or another. Has worked with Randy. He reached out to me about doing a live recording, and at this point, things were kind of returning to normal in terms of the gigs. So we had an event planned at Foolproof, and he came and recorded some songs there. He also recorded Christian Calderon, who is on the place in High Plains, who's going to be joining me with
One of our recent guests,
yeah. I think he was on last week, if I recall correctly, right? And so Christian,
week before last.
Week
before last. Okay, I knew it was recently. He's a friend of mine from way back when. We've done some events in the past where we've combined music with social consciousness. It was the Save the Safari Lounge. I don't know if you remember the Safari Lounge.
Yes, I do.
Providence.
And it's great. One of my coworkers is our marketing director, is the drummer for the band.
Yeah, High Plains. They are an incredible band, and they're going to be celebrating their 1-year anniversary of their award-winning album, Ghost Town.
Yes.
Nice. So that is nicely coincided, So we're not going to have the whole band. It's going to be more of a singer-songwriter focus. So Christian and Annie from the band
I'm looking forward to it.
Are going to be joining us. So they're going to start off at 7 p.m. The event starts at 6:30. Christian and Annie will be on at 7 p.m. sharp, and then Aaron and I will play our sets from the CD at 8 o'clock, and we'll do all the songs from the album, plus a few surprises, and we just hope everybody can come down. There's no cost to admission. It's a free event, but what we would like people to do is to bring non-perishable food items and kind of contribute that way. If you do so, John Windle at Foolproof has agreed to take $2 off the tab for anybody that comes in and does that. So that's another way we can hopefully get some people.
It's such a great top.
Yes.
It's
a great collaboration between music
when
and
you
the
do
community
that,
and the business community.
and then top it off with getting a couple bucks back just for bringing in some food.
Yeah.
And
Nothing
that's
wrong with getting a
the
couple
point.
bucks off your beer tab, that's for sure.
Yeah. It does. One of many things.
Yeah.
You're talking. Okay, so it not only makes people attend, because okay, so
Feel good about it. and then feel
you
better about it.
bring the food with you, and it helps somebody. You have the beverage, of course, and then you're listening to some great music, and then you start to become like a community when you talk to people next to you, and then so on and so forth, and that's how things happen.
Yes, and they do that as an ongoing thing. They have a food basket set up for the Rhode Island Community Food Bank on an ongoing basis, and that $2 offer is they're going to keep it up and going forward. So anytime you bring food there, $2 off your bill. Can't beat it.
So, I was thinking about what I could do more than
Okay.
what I do now. Like I host a show.
which is fantastic. We love it.
I mean, it's really not, enough.
Okay.
So, as you know, Steve, I do Haven Shine Gaming,
Yes.
and we run events. So I'm going to start doing the same thing like Foolproof does. You bring down some canned goods, whatever,
Beautiful.
and you get $2 off. I'm going to do the same thing that Foolproof does.
Nice.
So just letting you know, we're going to have a box in there, and and
This is how it happens.
so you're just going to have to lug it around. So
I know you're going to have to work because it's not about what I do, folks. It's about what you all do.
Yeah.
So like I say, when you join as a 152 member, not that you have to be on this show. You don't have to be a member. But if you're going to do it, you might as well join us.
You might
anyway.
as well,
Exactly, because you're already taking your first action. And
Yeah,
you may
so-
already be taking action, so you can just add it in. But we do ask you to do it soup to nuts. You decide what to do. You decide who to help. You decide how to get it there. But the beauty of that is 100% of the proceeds and all the actions go directly to the food
Right.
organization of your choice.
So like J. Michael Graham is here with us. That's his action. But it goes way beyond that. It goes beyond that.
Yeah,
It
he's
really
not only
does,
here
yeah.
taking action today,
Yeah.
but at the event at Foolproof, he's decided to make that a food drive along with Foolproof. So it's a beautiful thing.
Right.
We look for a minimum of one action in 1 week of the year, and you're already taking several all at once. Yeah, so that's
But see, what it
that's a beautiful
does-
thing.
What it does, Steve, is so he's doing this now with different events. going to foolproof, but as he moves through the community, as he's talking to others, then they start picking up that torch and they carry another torch to somebody else and then so on. And that's how it just grows.
That's how it happens.
What people that, the foolproof, what they really bring there is that community element. I mean,
Yes.
a lot of people know about foolproof, but a lot of people don't. It's this.
Yeah, they're tucked around the corner over there in that kind of that industrial area.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah. So it's at 241 Grotto Ave, right in Pawtucket. So it's kind of right off of Mineral Spring Ave.
Exactly.
If you're driving down, it's a quick
Right.
left over there by the Lorraine Mill area. And whenever you go to Foolproof, it's just this hidden gem. You just go in there, and that community aspect that you're talking about, Ron, it's just so alive and well there because it's a small enough space where people are just sort of rubbing elbows. It's sort of that old time.
Yeah, and you can't help talking to everybody.
Exactly. And then they have this wonderful outdoor space as well that sort of expands in there. So this is sort of indoor, outdoor. And that's what people do when they go there. They talk about the different community events that they're involved with. So this is just such a natural place to host.
Absolutely. So again, we are here at the Green on Main on 230 Main Street,
Main Street.
In Pawtucket,
Tucket, Rhode
downtown.
Island. The cultural capital of Rhode Island.
Every Monday we're going to be here. Now, I'm going to fill in gaps. If we don't have a show one week, I'm just going to do, my podcast, my solo podcast that I do for entertainment.
Okay, great.
So
Yeah.
that way, if there isn't anybody scheduled that week and we don't do a show, I will still be here, doing a show.
Okay, so
no
you'll
matter
fill that
what.
Monday
So-
slot?
Right.
Yeah, beautiful. That's
Right.
perfect.
So there'll always be something, and I gotta say, I'll probably, of course, mention the show every single time that I do a solo show, because this is important. This is important.
I've got him roped in now. I barely,
Yeah, I know.
when I first asked him about this, I barely got the words out of
Yeah,
my
I
mouth.
know.
And Ron was like, count me in. I totally get what
Yeah.
you're doing here. We are doing this. And
Yes,
that's-
because
I
it's
love that.
and it's it's sad because like every day when I came here in the wintertime, there was a gentleman that always came into the building and sat inside the pizza place. Well, he was homeless. And it's hard to see that every day,
Yeah,
knowing he's going to be out in the
wrenches,
cold.
It pulls at your heartstrings. It
And-
wrenches your feelings.
You can't. How do you help? And the pizza place helped them by just letting them sit in there to warm up during the day.
I think our friend Angelo, who was one of our first shows,
Right.
he has a great song called, I think it's something along the lines of How Can You Turn Away?
Yeah.
We'll have to have
You
Angelo
can't.
back
You
on in the near future. He has
Yeah.
dozens of great socially conscious songs along those lines.
Yeah. So that really, you caught me at a time. It was literally right after I was talking to him.
Yeah.
And
Perfect.
as soon as you said it, I was like, okay, I'm in. Maybe it'll help.
Yeah,
this gentleman or
we
whoever.
focus on the hunger issue because hunger in America shouldn't even exist.
Right.
And
that gets
It
tied in.
certainly crosses over to the homeless issue because let's face it,
Yeah.
everybody's got to eat, whether you're homeless or not,
Right.
or if you're just living in poverty and you
Yeah.
can't afford food. But I know in my heart that we can help to solve hunger in Rhode Island. There's so much forward momentum there. There's so many great programs going on, and we hope to. The element that we're going to bring literally to the table here is to help bring a plan of uniting and creating this scenario where we help to create the political will to make it happen. And if we are successful in creating food security in Rhode Island, well, we will certainly not rest on our laurels. We'll always try to maintain that position because once we're there, we will never let it go. But what else can we do? Once we've solved hunger, then homelessness.
There's a lot of
We
things
can move on to poverty. We right even into other social things that need doing. But let's solve hunger first. Let's get it out of the way. And from that incredible position of power, there's nothing we can't do.
That's right. That's right. So, like I say, donate bits, donate stars. It all helps when the ad comes on Twitch, and I'm sure you people that are on Twitch know that the ads come on. Sometimes you see a couple, sometimes you see 5. Watch the ads, because that penny that comes in through that ad helps. And it really does. It does. All those pennies add to dollars, and all those dollars add to hundreds and mouths fed.
As our slogan says, strength in numbers, and it all matters.
All right, so the CD release is the 21st at Foolproof for J. Michael Graham. Now, I also saw another little tidbit on your website, jmgrahammusic.com. The tidbit was a 2022 Best Vocalist nominee.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I mean, Motif Magazine is kind of the it paper, I guess, for the arts and entertainment here in Rhode Island. And it was a surprise, that nomination came around. So I was happy to get some acknowledgement there. This past year too, for 2023, the Riverbend East Festival was nominated for Best Festival as well. So we're getting some attention, with some of the work that we're doing artistically, and I say we because even though I would consider myself a solo artist, there's a lot of collaboration, through
Absolutely.
events and musicians that I work with. So it's
Absolutely.
As on a side note, kind of interesting, I'm sure a lot of people heard about our ZAP 50 concert that we did last year, and we ended up collaborating. It was a 50-50 collaboration between the Tourism Council and Michael, and you did the Riverbend East Festival first, and then it segued directly into the ZAP concert where we had quite a few artists, including Steve Smith and the Nakeds. They did an unbelievable job. But we also had Miss Seeger, Pete Seeger's daughter was there.
Yeah.
That was really a special
That's a
thing.
treat.
And she performed with one of your artists. So.
No, and if people do go to the website and make their way over, if they click on the Riverbend East page on the jmgrahammusic.com website, there's a link to, you can see Nika, performing. We have her in the video, which was just such a touching thing because Pete Seeger had performed at the original ZAP back in, help me with the date.
1972.
72, yeah.
Yep.
So I was just a baby back then, but it was, don't quite remember it, but I've seen the press, seen the documentation of that event, and talk about a collaborative effort. What an amazing.
It was amazing. And Mark Cutler helped us to write a song for the event.
Mm-hmm.
So we recorded. Is that song on your site also?
It's not up on the site, but it is on the Riverbend East page. If you just sort of scroll down there.
Okay, it's also on this. If you just Google ZAP 50, you'll come right to it. And Mark did an amazing job, and we all sang on it together. And Mark was just the hero of the day, along with you, of course, to make that happen. And we were so proud to have a member of the Seeger family there, and really just a whole love fest going on. And here we are today.
The attendance was amazing too.
I
want to say it was upwards of 500 or 600 people that attended over
the course of the day. And there was so many other things going on that day, but we ended up having a great crowd. All of our sponsors were amazing to help the Tourism Council to bring it about. And we're glad to have you here today. And how about another song for us?
Well, sure. I think I'm going to get to that Spanish Market song that Ron was.
Yes, I was hoping.
Propping up a bit.
I was hoping.
Just a quick little backstory here on this one. So I was in Rhode Island during the 1990s. A couple of these songs actually go back to then, and then had the opportunity to do some rearranging through the years before we put the modern incarnations on this record. But during the 2000s, I was up in the Boston area, and I know it's the anniversary of the Marathon bombing, so that's another event to sort of touch upon in terms of important time of reflection. And I was living up there. This song doesn't really have much to do with that per se, but it does have to do with I was in my mid-30s at the time, and kind of just experiencing some form of isolation. I think a lot of people do, when they sort of get out of their 20s and they're kind of people are sort of moving on and friends are moving away and you're transitioning. There's a lot of transitioning going on. And I had an injury, I remember, and I wasn't able to drive, so I was tied up in this house. I was living in Waltham, Massachusetts, and the only thing I could get to was this nearby Spanish Market, for my sustenance. We're talking about food security and those sorts of things. And Yeah, so I used to kind of take my crutches every day and kind of move my way into this Spanish market. And a lot of it was, to pick up my necessities and things I needed for the day or the week or whatnot. But a lot of it was about connection. It was about those community spaces, and that this particular Spanish market that was nearby was providing that for me. And it was sort of this call out of like loneliness of just like I'm looking for inspiration, any kind of inspiration, something.
And that human touch, you got to interact.
Exactly. So that's kind of in a nutshell what Spanish market is about. Spend my days at the Spanish market. I'm looking for a spot to make me a snack. And it's a tiny space, this apartment of mine. All my friends can't seem to find the time. I just don't know why, so I waited all night for a stranger to come. I waited all night for a stranger to come. Thinking about maybe moving on. I think we'll start a train on my own. Still, there's nothing better than losing a friend. No, you can't always get together again. I'm just not sure when, so I waited all night for a stranger to come. I waited all night. Waited all night for a stranger to come. I know all the same tunes as you. Let's play them together. We can both be blue. Here I am in the same house again, talking the talk, then staying put. Maybe you can't help put me back together again. Only God knows if the sun will shine or if I'll sin. But I'm just not sure when, so I waited all night. I waited all night. I waited all night for a stranger to come. All night. Yes, I waited all night. Oh, I waited all night.
to come.
Fantastic.
Nice,
Love
beautiful
it.
song.
Love it.
And I think I noticed kind of a cool mixture of whole chords and some minor chords and mixed in there. It gave it that nice feel with those minor chords.
Thank you. Wow, a little music theory there in the program, Steve. Thank you. Wow, that's a,
Yeah, really
We
nice.
don't want to make Ron look too musically inclined here.
Well, we'll get to that. We'll get
he's
to
a
that.
renaissance man. He's a renaissance
Talking
man.
chords and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I just thought it sounded great.
Yeah,
Well, this coming from a bass player, everything's basically thump, 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 you know. But I started out playing a little bit of six-string guitar in my career, some 50-odd years ago, and but I immediately decided I was not going to master the six-string guitar, and immediately moved on to the simpler four-string guitar, and I never looked back, and that's okay because I advanced in my career as a sound man and a producer and an engineer and all-around roadie. So I had a lot of great success in my musical career, both on stage and behind the boards.
Hey, that's the important stuff, you know. It really
Yeah.
is.
I just went and saw my friends in the band Sundance, again, fellow one of 52 members at Dan's place the other night. Dan, we're going to mention them because they got a great event coming up there with our friend Gary Hop and the band Sundance. Oh, they were just amazing. They had the audience right in the palm of their hand. They played a great combination of popular and dance songs, but they're just such a great band.
All right, so we are live here at the Green on Main in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, 230 Main Street. Come down every Monday at noontime and sit with us live. You can have a picnic while listening to the podcast in person. So if you're not able to come down and watch live, then you must be doing one of several things. You could be, say on Facebook at Rhode Island Broadcasting. So get on Facebook, donate some stars. You could be watching us on Twitch at RI_broadcasting or Twitter at Broadcasting RI. And of course, we cannot forget on YouTube at Rhode Island Broadcasting. We're at 1,134 followers now on YouTube. We're at 10K plus on Facebook. I mean, we got eyes everywhere. So that means people are watching, and that means if you sponsor the show, you get views. So sponsor the show, please. All the sponsored money goes to the Rhode Island Community Food Bank, and so it goes for a great cause. So please do that. It's very important. It's very important. So
support the show and support our live events.
Yep.
We have a couple coming up of note. Of course, the Foolproof gig, that's coming up next Friday.
This Friday.
This Friday,
Yes.
this coming Friday, 4/21. Foolproof Brewery starts, doors open at 6:30. Kristen Caldone and Andy from High Plains go on first. Then Michael and his bass partner go on after that. Be a wonderful night. Bring some food. Then the very next day, 4/22, Saturday, which is Earth Day. Our good friends, Gary Hop and friends, are organizing an event there in the afternoon called the Wishing Well. And they actually set up a wishing well over there. Gary's an amazing guy, and they'll be performing some live acoustic music there. And they're going to do an Earth Day cleanup around Dan's place. Dan has been amazingly supportive at Dan's place on Route 102 in West Greenwich. He does the giving thanks event every year with Gary over there. You've probably heard about that. If you tune into if you're tuned into who we are and what we do and all, and Gary's making this 1 of 52 event, so you can bring food either in the afternoon or to his show that night with the Good Vibe Tribe. That starts at 8:30. Then on May 6th, our good friend Al Olson, who we had on the show recently, a fellow 152 member, and Buddy Cavallari who also was on the show recently, is having a benefit for the St. Andrews Food Pantry
Right.
at Java Madness. Mark LaHood over there does amazing work, very socially conscious guy, usually donates 10% of the proceeds from the food sales on those event days. And it's not only a food pantry event, but it's also for the personal needs pantry at the St. Andrews Food Pantry and Personal Needs Pantry at their church. And it is, let's see, May 6th, 2 p.m. And then every month, there's going to be an ongoing 152 event with one of our members, Michelle Gerasoli, at the Kingston Congregational Church. And I think their website, you can Google them and check them out. I think it's actually King Kong Church, which I love. And they are doing a very unique event, and they bring in a guest chef every month, and they do what is called a beneficent banquet. And it's an event to feed your soul, feed yourself, and feed the community. So this benefit event actually feeds a supper that they're going to do for the community every month. And Michelle has made this her 152 participation of helping to make this event happen. And so check that out on their website. And you can go on Facebook and search out the 152 Hunger Network benefit page. You can look at our all of our events there. We do have a group page there if you decide to join as a member. And there's also the 152 Hunger Network CD benefit. Is that
Yeah,
right?
it's there.
This is a CD that was an amazing product, that some of the songs were written especially for the project. Others were sitting fallow. Future note. We actually, that's still in the works, the Fallow Music channel.
Yep.
Watch for news on that.
I'm still thinking about King Kong as a preacher.
Yeah, there you go. That's a great
I
image,
need
right?
to go to that church.
Yeah, exactly.
That
Yeah.
was a favorite. That was a Saturday afternoon favorite.
Yeah,
They're
you
a
know.
very forward-thinking congregational church. So there's actually a Facebook page dedicated to this CD. You can go there, listen to the songs for free, and if you're so motivated, you can donate to the Rhode Island Community Food Bank, or once again, donate to the food organization of your choice. Matter of fact, Chikula has a song on here that he wrote called Blanket of Snow, and he also does a wonderful version of Pete Seeger's song, We Shall Overcome. Now you can donate directly to the Hunger Bus. That could be your donation of choice. If you donate listening to We Shall Overcome or Pete Seeger's song, a little of this and that on there, he has a request that you donate to the United Negro College Fund. And there's many, many other artists on here, including John Cafferty, who I hope to have on for a future show.
That would be so
And
awesome.
many artists on here who contributed freely, giving their songs to this CD. So listen to it, donate, and help us out. And I want to thank you all for paying attention to us.
Yeah,
I want to thank Ron for
yeah.
making this show available. So you
You
can Google us, give us a
it's-
search and a look
It's just,
and a listen.
you know, a lot of chat. That's all you have to do, really, is talk about it. And that gets the word out. So you can just, you know, throw comments up there at any time, and we'll bring them onto the show. And also share it. If you share the show, a lot of people will see it. And that's what counts. If you share the show on your Facebook page, the chances are at least, you know, 5 to 10 people are going to click that play button, at least for a little while.
Yeah.
And if they like what they hear, they just keep listening.
And here's a newsflash for you. If you like the idea of joining as a 152 member, you can actually make that part of your first action.
Yeah.
The fact that you're helping us to share the good word here.
Right? See?
And then, you know, make that your first action. Maybe your next birthday party, instead of people bringing you gifts that you may or may not need anymore, ask them to bring non-perishable food
Right.
items to donate to the local food pantry.
There you go.
There could be your second action. Your third,
Or have them
Yeah.
bring both.
Do both. Third
Bring
year,
gifts and food.
annual, do it again, expand it. The beauty of this campaign and the concept is it's so simple to get involved.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost you anything. All you have to do is care and
That's
help
right.
to feed your neighbors. And actually, the upcoming events that are the back porch, front porch festivals, there's one coming up in Providence, there's one coming up in Bristol, there's one coming up nationally and internationally. And I'm trying to spread the word that we should make them all be mini food drives.
Right.
Just ask your neighbors to bring food items when they come
Exactly.
and donate it to your local food pantry.
Exactly.
So we got, I want to really, before we wrap up, Michael, thank you so much for being here. This has been fantastic. And we do have time for one more song, if you'd be so kind.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'll make this a quickie, not a lot of intro to this one. This is a song called Breakthrough. Just the other day, I let one get away. Fishing is no good this season. Seeing my footprints on the track, guess it's time for looking back. Don't know if I'm going to the fair at all, but if you hold my hand, time will begin again. And I'm waiting for a breakthrough, calling you back. Will you make your mind up? A temporary setup, no one to take you home. Waiting for a breakthrough, calling you back. Will you make your mind up? It's like praying for salvation, someone to take you home. I've seen these birds before. There's one living out my door. I don't have the heart to let them in. Spring has sprung again. It's summer's time for sleeping in. Don't know if I'm going to the fair at all, but when you hold my hand, time begins again. And I'm waiting for a breakthrough, calling you back. Will you make your mind up? A temporary setup, no one to take you home. Waiting for a breakthrough, calling you back. Will you make your mind up? It's like praying for salvation, someone to take you. I've heard it's the little things that count. The story of what your life is all about. And I'm waiting for a breakthrough, calling you back. When will you make your mind up? A temporary setup, no one to take you home. Waiting for a breakthrough, calling you back. Will you make your mind up? A temporary setup, no one to take you. Waiting for a breakthrough, I keep waiting for a breakthrough. A temporary setup, no one to take you. Waiting for a breakthrough, I keep waiting for a breakthrough. It's like praying for salvation, someone to take you home. La, la, la.
fantastic.
Very good.
All right. Thank you, J. Michael Graham, for being here today. If you want to see him live, you can see him this Friday at Foolproof Brewery, April 21st, in case watching this later.
Yes.
But it's for his CD release live from Little Roadie. Looking forward to everybody experiencing it because I got to listen to it online at jmgrahammusic.com. You can also catch him at Antonio's Pizza April 29th
That's right. That's right.
in Pawtucket.
Keeping it
I
in
love
Pawtucket.
the pizza there.
Yeah,
Love
that's a
the
great
pizza
place,
there.
and they've been doing a lot with music as well. So.
Right. So you can also see him at the First Strike Festival at Slater Mill, May 13th.
Yeah, that's gonna be a great event. Another separate collaboration with Slater Mill, coinciding with the first strike that evidently took place in Pawtucket historically, and there's a lot of great education and information that they're going to be sharing. And Mark Cutler will be there doing the songwriting workshop.
And I think it was not only the first strike, but it was actually the first woman strike. The woman organized that strike. And that I'm big on the things that Rhode Island is first at as part of my duties with the state tourism. And I study things that we're first at. And of course, Slater Mill is the birthplace of the American Industrial Revolution. And you can, if you want to learn more about that, visit blackstonevalleytourism.com and learn more about that. You can visit all of Ron's sites to learn more about all of his other shows.
Oh yeah, ton of them.
We just learned today that he's making one of your other shows, the game show. You're going to ask people to bring non-perishable food items as part of his 152 Hunger Network member effort.
All right.
And, thank you.
You can also, those of you that are watching in New Hampshire, he's coming to you too at the Village Trestle in Goffstown, New Hampshire
Yeah,
on June 3rd.
that's right.
June 3rd, he's coming to you, so make sure you're there. All our watchers that are in New Hampshire, I'm sure there's a ton of them, of course.
At least one.
There's got to be.
Gotta
Right?
be one.
There's got to be. So if you're from New Hampshire, please just message us, comment, on the video. So, also, let's put it the other way. You're not going to be able to read this because it come up backwards.
Oh, there you go.
But the Riverbend East Festival, this was from 2022. Is that in talks right now for
Yeah, no, we
2023?
actually have a tentative kind of. Well, we have a date. We have an official date, so it's going to be September 1st and 2nd this year. So we're bumping it up just 1 week.
Awesome.
It's always in early September, and again, they can go to the jmgrahammusic.com website. There's a Riverbend East link there with all the information about the festival in terms of just what it entails. We are going to have two events. We're going to have the 1st and the 2nd. So there's going to be an evening event, and then there's going to be a singer-songwriter event on the 2nd, the traditional Saturday day. And Rachel Sumner is going to headline that portion of the programming, who has done some wonderful work. She's won a songwriting contest with her song Radiant Girls, which talks about the industrial history. Speaking of women, that really was an unfortunate event that was poisonous for women back in those days, girls, and so forth. So she'll tell you all about that through music and collaboration at Slater Mill.
And is that coinciding with the Pawtucket Art Festival?
It does. It's going to be served as the kickoff, actually. It's the first weekend of that.
And we also have the Dragon Boat races happening at Festival Pier that same weekend.
Mhm.
So a lot of stuff going on. Pawtucket, once again, the cultural bedrock over here in
It's really
Rhode Island is really coming along. A lot of great things going on in our community.
Love it.
Thank you so much for being here, man.
All right.
Really appreciate it.
So, thank you everybody for joining us live at the Green on Me. If you want to come and see us next week, please feel free, head down noontime, Eastern Standard Time. So if you're coming from China and you're coming in to watch the show, it is Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you have the hour correctly, and all that. Because I know our fans are crazy everywhere, and they all want to come here. So if you're coming from China, remember it's 12 hours after.
Before?
Is it after or
Maybe?
before?
I don't know.
I can't. I don't. I don't understand the time thing, but you guys all know what I'm talking about. So come down, visit us live every Monday night. Monday noontime, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. We'll see you next week. Thank you for being here.